So speaking of,
Oh,
I
so
showed
when
a,
you
I showed a DC clip. Speaking of DC, oh my gosh.
let's get into this. Okay, so yesterday, Variety broke some pretty major ass news that there is an overhaul being looked at for for sorry, my foot is so acting up. This is all your fault. But the an overhaul going on at these entertainment, and this is a lot. This is probably going to take up most of the show today. So, keep sending super chats and questions. So we will get to it for sure. But so essentially, just to try and break it down a little bit for for everyone, because you can get it is a long article, but essentially what David Slaz is doing, who is that he's the CEO of these two combined companies, and he's the top at the top of leadership. They've been essentially they're wanting to elevate everything within these entertainment to essentially they're more so mainstream it. And what that means, just to break it up a little bit, is that they think DC is like a coherent creative and brand strategy. They want to revitalize characters like Superman that's been kind of like pushed to the side for a significant time. And no, we know Superman Lois is out there, but they're talking about Superman on the big screen and in other corners. Superman Lois is not the end all be all of all Superman stuff. They're essentially looking for not an exact Kevin Feige type, but they're looking for someone that is kind of that's going to be sort of a leader for the DC brand in terms of like, and they're looking for someone that is more into that has like huge business experience, but can also serve as a connective tissue between these departments, and they want to invest more in they want to invest more in supporting characters like Harley Quinn or whatever, and do more films like Joker, like so more like black label movies essentially. And so, and the best sentence I can use from the Variety article, just to because it's a long piece and it's just there's a lot of information to take in, but David Slad, the CEO of the combined company and top leadership, have been toying with the idea of turning DC into its own solidified content vertical, sort of said. And essentially, what it means, we could be getting a DC Studios finally, kind of like Marvel Studios, and so, because everything has always been operating underneath Warner Brothers. Like, yes, there's DC Films, but it's not its own complete thing. And so this is a lot. This is a lot. This was also expected. And
Mhm.
so because my throat is so messed up, you talk.
Apologies. Okay, so he called me 30 minutes before my interview with Rob Paulson yesterday that I recorded yesterday. He said, "Did you see what happened? Did your computer?" I'm like, "What?" And I already saw it on Twitter. He's like, "Get your computer down." I'm like, okay. So, as you said, this was expected. And honestly, I'm surprised at how fast the announcement came out, because I honestly thought it was going to be like a little bit later down the road. But then again, he's the new sheriff in town. He's the guy who runs the whole thing. And
Is
so
that
for
why you
him,
picked that photo, fam? Just so that you can build up to that sheriff joke?
no, I just said that on the whim because he literally he's the new sheriff. He's literally running everything. Instead of Warner Brothers being under another company, of course, AT&T. So like now, this guy's like, because he's been seeing what's been happening for all this time before even the buy. He probably was seeing what was happening. He saw all these. I mean, the fact that they reference Superman in terms of the film side has been kind of pushed to the side. Exactly. That's what's happened. And it's crazy too, because we've heard the rumors for a while that the Flash movie erases Cavill's Superman from the timeline and it's going to be replaced with Kara, Supergirl. Now we're hearing that he's like, Superman has been pushed to the side and he is a vital piece to the puzzle here of DC. Now, in terms of your DC films, like studio, that should have happened years ago. But of course it didn't, because at the time, the leadership has shifted so much over there in terms of who's running the DC side of Warner Brothers, in terms of the hierarchy. It just was all over the place. There was constant shifts in people in terms of Walter Hamada and Sarnoff, all these different people that were running Warner Brothers or visions of DC and stuff. It just constantly, there was no consistency. And the fact that he referenced, of course, you have to reference the competition. He wants a Kevin Feige type because Kevin Feige has been building the MCU for all of these years. And now, on top of movies, he has TV shows. Regardless of if you think the quality of these Disney Plus shows are bad, good, okay, indifferent, whatever, he's been shepherding all of this for so long. And before he even started doing the Marvel Studios MCU, he worked on the X-Men films, the Spider-Man films, of course, before he jumped over to 2008 to do Iron Man. He's been doing
He
this
did
for years.
Spider-Man?
Yes, he was on set during Spider-Man 1 with Sam Raimi. He was there. He worked on all the good early Marvel movies and all the bad ones. He saw what worked and what didn't work. And he obviously won't reference all of those movies in terms of good or bad, but he's credited for so much. So for David Zaslav to come in and say, we need to get somebody here who's going to run this shit. Thing is, I don't know if there is a person that DC can pull in that would be doing what Kevin Feige does. Because here's the thing. For a while, when Kevin Feige was running the Marvel Studios in terms of the films, we had a bunch of offshoots of TV stuff, the Netflix, Hulu, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even though they say it was connected. I mean, at a certain point, is that show really connected?
Yes.
And then, well, there's the whole debate. I mean,
no, there is no debate. I will fight
there's
you
a debate.
on that.
There's a debate. There's a debate. But anyways, not the point.
In your head.
No, there's not in my head. There's actual debate in terms of the timeline and what the shows continue to do. It gets offshoots from the MCU, I think. I don't even know. Okay, because that show
if Kevin Feige said that he's continued to say even after Jeff Loeb, who was the head of Marvel TV, left, don't read into it, guys. I don't have time for this. But Kevin Feige is always that these shows are connected. Whenever they choose to use them, this is a different discussion. But
well, I need to hear that because I don't know where he said that. I don't know where he said that. But that's not the point of the conversation. The point of what I'm trying to make is that he wasn't in control of all the stuff. He's now in control of every single Marvel property that is now going out in terms of animation, in terms of film, in terms of live action TV. The thing is that DC's all over the place right now for the most part. But they would have to really restructure a lot of things in order for it to be under one thing. And okay, so what's the thing here? Is David Zaslav saying he only wants a DC universe that is interconnected in the same universe and there is no multiverse in terms of the TV shows are going to be set within the DCEU and the films and TV are interconnected just like what Marvel's doing? Is that what he's saying? Or is he saying that he wants somebody to have a better cohesive plan in terms of how they're structuring and putting out content? That's what I want to know. What exactly is he like? What is the end game for him? Like, is he trying to make DC what Marvel's doing in terms of any show that comes out is interconnected to the films that are coming out? Or are they sticking with the multiverse plan where Batman, Robert Pattinson is separated from everything else and anything that's interconnected to that will, of course, make sense? Or is it going to be a multiverse or is everything going to have to be connected or nothing works? Like, it's really confusing, David Zaslav. Like, I want to know, like, obviously this is not like a full, like, this is probably early stages of trying to figure this out, but like, what is he trying to accomplish? Like, what is his goal? Is it to bring Superman back? Is it to have everything interconnected all in one like the MCU is? That's what I want to know. Like, what is, because if that's true, the Arrowverse shows are done because they're not interconnected to the DCEU. It's not connected. It's on a different Earth. Like, that's the thing. They're pushing multiverse. Years ago, at DC Fandom, they've been pushing multiverse angle, but now David Zaslav comes in and goes, we need to restructure this whole thing. So
okay, finish your part. Okay, yeah, because I think this escalate a little bit because this is okay. So, and
this multiverse.
And yeah, hi Jake. Hope you're doing
Jake.
well. So
good timing because we're really talking DC right now.
Yeah. So here is the thing. Because people are now, there's so many assumptions going on right now that, what's going to be, shut down. Like, here's the thing. It's not about shutting down or, bringing back anything or whatever. So it's more about like, what are they gonna push more forward? So it's like, no, the errors will still exist as long as it's making them money. They're still gonna keep going on it. It could just be that depending on what happens with the CW stuff, for example, maybe it could be like, yeah, we can still do error shows, but why don't we just do it on HBO Max instead? Because that's more profitable for us. Because they know that there is a fan base for that.
And I
So
told and I said that to you. I said that they could move the stuff over or produce new content connected to the Arrowverse on HBO
yeah,
Max.
yeah, but so either way,
Sell goes through. Yeah.
either way, it's more about like just trying to elevate more things that DC just hasn't been using. So, and as we have seen now, and whatever her face name was, she could not handle the job. Walter Hamada, his contract is expiring next year, and we will see if that man gets to keep his job or not. We will see. And there's
I
just
mean, everybody except Toby Emmerich is leaving as of right now in terms of contracts. So, like, that pretty much says to me David Zaslav's cleaning most of the house. So,
I mean, Toby Emmerich stay. I mean, or is it just that it's cheaper to have him on the contract that to pay him out? So but either way,
and
just
that
if I
may
could,
be the case because his contract might not be up. So that may be it.
his contract is coming up soon, though. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
But if I can just finish my thoughts, I think what they're looking for, like for me, like because I don't need a Kevin Feige necessarily. I do think there should be at least someone that can kind of like speak to everything that is going on, whether it is comics, the video games, because there was a focus on, they want to do more things in video game stuff that isn't just Batman. Thank God. Like someone that can kind of like know what's going on everywhere, but also know like what makes the most sense business wise. So because I know people were saying, I saw Kevin Smith's name come up, I saw James Gunn's name come up. I'm like, fuck no, not James Gunn. Let him just keep doing movies and like let him shepherd a whole, brand. And we don't need that. And also, that's the thing, they're not looking for a creative guru. They're looking for someone that knows what is the best choices for us financially, what's going to make us the most money. Because at the end of the day, all of this is just about making money. And I think the best thing for them is to utilize the multiverse more, but also note they also should have a structure of when they do, like, let's say let's take just an off the cuff scenario. Let's say they do we know there's a Val Zod show in the work for HBO Max. We know there's a Black Superman reboot movie for the big screen from J.J. Abrams. But for example, give your film like the top mandate should be like, let your filmmakers be the filmmakers and make the best story possible. Don't do what you've done in the past of like interfering, like, or like don't cut, what's the saying, like too many cooks in the kitchen. And like that's what we need to like throw out. We need to be like they need to have the same mandate for everything when it comes to TV, movies, comics, video games, you name it. And and of course I know this is obviously this was obviously huge news that a lot of and I am a Snyderverse fan as well. And I think that don't never say never when it comes to it continuing whatever. Now that this thing is happening, because again, for years people can say the Snyder Cut is never going to happen, and look where we are now. It did happen. So I think Davis, he sounds like he is doing a lot of smart choices. Some of it is going to become public very, very soon. Some of it is going to be something people will have to wait for. There's going to be things that we're going to all find out together. And like, again, I was literally just like, I was going to take a nap yesterday. And then my phone just blows up and I'm like, what happened? And I run back to the computer. So there, I think that this is, I don't think anything is being reset. I think that there's things that are going to probably move on from a more so one, and more they're gonna move on to things that newer things, older things, but with a touch of new, if that makes sense. And I think that it's gonna be there's gonna be mixed reactions, and I think that whoever they pick, it's probably not gonna be someone that we don't know. Like, so it's not gonna be someone that is like, it's not gonna be a celebrity, like celebrity executive producer or something like that. It's not gonna be a celebrity who is in the filmmaking world. It's gonna be someone like, because yesterday, like I brought up the name. One name that one of the candidates he was looking at was a woman named Emma Watts. She is a former top film executive at 20th Century Fox and Paramount. but it appeared that she would not take the job. And Variety even says one insider suggested that Zaslav was less interested in finding a creative guru and more eager to hire someone who had the type of business background needed to keep all different factions at DC working more harmoniously. Which is, I think, that's that's a keyword, harmoniously, where like there isn't so much chaos going on, like, because we know that there's been a lot of different creative shifts in comics, like there, and I think it was last year we got a new editor-in-chief for DC Comics. There's been just there's different shifts going on with TV. There's more things happening on HBO Max with the movies. Again, also the pandemic has sadly played so much of a part where like how long, like when did the Batman even get announced? Like with Robert Pattinson, was it like 2019 or something?
I think so.
Yeah, so like it took 3 years for this 3-hour movie to come out, which almost made me poetic.
And and Matt Reeves talked about the fact that at one point when the shutdown happened, there was a chance the movie was never going to come out. Like there's a chance that the movie was just done. Like there's just nothing else to do because they didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, because we were all. It was so. The COVID was new to everyone. Like we didn't can there ever be a cure? Like, are we gonna have to wait? Like, because thank God to all those talented scientists all over the world who together found this vaccine and they generated this vaccine within a year. Within a year, that's a fucking miracle. So but the point being, when it comes to the DC, I think that this is going to be a very interesting couple of years for DC going forward. And like I said, whoever they pick, I expect it to be someone that we've never heard of. And if they do their job right, they will they will have the status of a Kevin Feige in DC. I mean, I can take the job if they need to, and just like. I imagine I get the job and I just sit in my skyscraper tower and just it has to be a skyscraper. If that's the only way I associate with being rich. I sit in my skyscraper tower and I look that as I go. And well. Now the metaphor here is that Oliver's dead body is the corpse of the former Warner Bros. That could not get any shit done.
And when they announce you to be the new head of DC content, everyone's gonna be saying,
"Wow, you have seriously leveled up."
Leveled up.
Yeah, I have leveled up. And then here's the thing: when you become the DC executive, can you please like redo this sequence in a sequel for Batman and Robin?
Suit me up, Uncle Alfred.
If you don't get Alicia Silverstone back as Batgirl and have her say that again, no. And then when you come out and you're saying that all these things you're going to do, all these plans, and you end up just making sequel after Batman and Robin, and they go back to look at your original, your announcement of you saying you're going to do all these things, you're bringing back the Snyderverse. This is going to be you.
Obviously, this particular comment didn't age too well.
How fucking dare you?
I had to find a way to use that clip.